All right, everyone, it's time to talk about the executive branch being under attack by a lawless, well, half of the legislature, namely the House of Representatives, how partisanship has eaten away at the very understructure of the separation of powers, and it's not the executive branch largely doing it. Trump's decision to largely ignore subpoenas from the House is perfectly fine by me because it's obviously weaponized witch hunt bullshit. Here's the funny thing. It was funny when Nancy Pelosi the other day, she was talking about like Watergate and Nixon. She's like, oh, well, one of the articles of impeachment against him was ignoring or violating subpoenas from the House of Representatives. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't the whole spying on your political adversaries thing. It was the fact that he ignored some subpoenas. That's why he would have gotten removed from office. Impeachment is not removal from office. Nobody gives a fuck about your Nixon references. You're just showing your age when you care about the issue at all, Miss Pelosi. No, it's actually the executive branch that's under threat. And the House has been pointing out, well, we need to have the power of oversight and stuff. Yes, absolutely. The House of Representatives is supposed to conduct such searches. It's supposed to subpoena people and bring them in and question them and things of that nature. But the idea of it weaponizing that structure in a partisan manner, because it's only the Democrats doing this, and this is like the Republicans with Benghazi, there are similarities. When the House of Representatives is weaponized in order to simply obstruct the proper role of government and waste people's time, waste taxpayers' money, when there is no actual indication, all things considered, of wrongdoing, the AG, the deputy AG, who was I think an Obama appointee anyway, and the Justice Department, the Mueller probe cleared Trump of wrongdoing. The House is taking that, ignoring the actual findings, and proceeding to act as though it has some probable cause to drag Mnuchin, AG Barr, and all of these others to subpoena them, waste their time when they could be doing other work for the American people, and drag them before the House to answer the same questions that fundamentally have already been answered in their report that has already been freely offered to them by Barr in unredacted form, if they're willing to be patient enough to fucking wait. But the fact is that Barr can't say, well, yeah, I'll have that report to you by tomorrow. I'll go through, I'm not even going to bother consulting with Justice Department lawyers. I'm not even going to talk to our legal teams. I'm just going to unredact the whole thing and give it to you and violate the Fourth Amendment so that I can be removed from my post. Yeah, that would be really smart for Barr to do in order to bend over backwards to appease the Democrats in the House like Schiff, who just, they can't get their heads around the fact that they lost. And so now they're trying basically impeachment light. What they're going for, here's their strategy. Mueller probe fell apart in their faces. They were counting on that. They were counting on it to be explosive and to actually do harm to Trump. It didn't do that. It cleared Trump of any wrongdoing along with everyone on his campaign as far as collusion goes. And as far as obstruction, it was never the role of the prosecutor to come out and even say, this was a total Comey thing that Mueller did. Oh, well, we couldn't find evidence of, we couldn't say one way or the other whether he obstructed. That's not what a prosecutor is supposed to do. The prosecutor is supposed to say either yes, we found evidence, or no, it didn't exist. We don't have probable cause. So why continue looking into it? Now they're talking about like Trump's taxes. They get the head of the Treasury Department. They're saying, oh my God, he needs to give us Trump's tax returns, or we're going to drag him in. We're going to have the Sergeant at Arms go over and drag him in. That would be funny, because the last time that was done was during Iran-Contra. In fact, it's only been done like 2 or 3 times in the nation's history. In weaponized context, by the way. Iran-Contra scandal aside, think what you will about the idea of arming guerrilla movements in, Central America. Very interesting times indeed. Oh yeah, the Reagan administration was full of weird shit. I didn't even get to live through it. I beat myself up for not having been a fetus sooner so that I could have seen the Gipper do crazy shit and like slowly lose his mind during his second term while he threatens nuclear war with another state. And then it actually worked, even though he was like, wasn't he demented or even dead, I think, by the time that the Soviet Union collapsed? Like, he didn't even get to revel in the fact that the Soviet Union was gone. He'd sit there, I did it. No, it's the executive branch that's under attack. What we've seen is that the Democrats keep making the case, well, the executive branch is trying to usurp the authority of the House of Representatives. Or they use the term the legislature, separation of powers style. It's not the legislature, it's half the legislature. The Senate has no problem. The Senate's Judiciary Committee already looked into the whole Mueller thing. They found no wrongdoing either. What do you think the House is going to find? And as far as Trump's taxes, this is old hat. You've been rambling about it since the campaign wasn't even over. People made it at Maddow, taking his one-page thing there, the tax return that was already freely available, and saying, oh, well, we've got Trump's taxes and shit. And it basically exonerates Trump, too. It's like, okay, he made a huge amount of money. You said that he was less successful than he says. He paid a huge amount of taxes. You said he was a tax cheat or something. He's paying, what was it, like 25% on his taxes? Totally normal for that level of income after business deductions. Probably more than, someone like Joe Biden. I think it was high. I think Joe Biden paid like 22%, didn't he? I think Sanders paid like 19, if I remember correctly. I think he paid even less. Why should he even use tax write-offs? He's a socialist. He should be voluntarily paying 50% of his taxes because he makes a six-figure salary. Now, shouldn't he? I think Sanders should lead by example, just like Al Gore shouldn't have 3 homes and 3 fucking aircraft or whatever crazy shit he has. Michael Moore needs to live in a pup tent. Although there's none big enough to accommodate him. I suppose his house is normal size for someone of his stature. Or not, his horizontal stature, that is, so to speak. Now, it's the executive branch being stymied. Trump should have carte blanche to do what he needs to do at this point. Look, the Democrats lost with the Mueller probe. They wasted all of our time and lied to everyone. They're still lying. Trump did not lie. He was right, by the way, about even some of the things that he said that seemed more off the wall at the time, like the fact that the FBI had actively spied on his campaign and it wasn't just a probe after the fact. No, it turns out that they did attempt to infiltrate his campaign multiple times, including trying to get a seductress to, I guess, sleep with Papadopoulos. Don't you understand how fucking dystopian it looks what the FBI alone was doing? Barr comes and says, yeah, we're going to look into it. And he's getting criticized for not saying straight out what I think we all know, which is that there was criminal conduct going on within some rung of the FBI. Yes, there was certainly a crime committed. Near treason, if not treason itself. I'm very, very worried what this says for our intel apparatus. But apparently it's a conspiracy theory to ask that question. It's actually Watergate in reverse, because actually it was the president being spied on. Both before and after he became the president. He's probably still being surveilled right now. Has the CIA bugged the White House or something? I wouldn't put it past him. Maybe Trump should hire a private security firm to check up on the Secret Service sometime. I know it wouldn't be fashionable. Maybe he should have his own people in there too. Maybe he should really consider that possibility. And supposedly there are all these leaks from within the Trump administration, most of which turn out to be bullshit. I think that's pretty good evidence he's not being spied on, by the way. I'm saying that tongue-in-cheek, but it is worrisome. And it's worrisome how many Americans take seriously the idea that the president shouldn't be able to defend himself against weaponized legal proceedings from the House because it happens to be led by his political opponents who are ass blasted and butthurt about 2016 and worried about 2020. And so they're trying to prevent him from winning re-election by preventing him from doing anything meaningful until then. This is just an attempt to kick the can down the road, and when he likely wins anyway, hopefully it blows up in their faces, robs them of the House, and gets rid of some of these idiot never-Trumpers, the flake types as well. That's about all. Peace out.